firm. This is very true. You know, if there's been you don't just go to the Super Bowl on the first game you play, right? No, you gotta put in a lot of ends, man. Let's get it.
Here for a beautiful podcast.
Always. At some point, that might be perceived as annoying. You do realize that, right?
No.
Tasty.
Very tasty. What's your choice?
What's
your choice drink?
This is a First Form Energy Orange Sunrise.
Yeah.
Like it. I've had every
Orange
flavor they've
Sunrise.
gotten. I haven't had one I don't like.
Yeah.
They've been good.
I'm ready to give my long-term Croc review.
Are you? So you didn't even warn me. I'm wearing Crocs as well this morning.
Are you ready for a long-term review?
Sure.
Okay. So when I first received my pair of Crocs, they're pretty hard, hard plasticky, and I'm like, these things, I get them. You can kind of like slip them on, but they're probably not going to be any good for anything that you had to put a little treadwear on.
A little effort into.
Yeah, but they break in nicely. In fact, they break in so nicely that I think they probably got about like 100-mile wear capacity.
Think so?
Because I'm about to wear a hole in the bottom of my forefoot.
Oh, wow. You're going to be out another $30.
But I've become an a growing fan of Crocs. They've grown on me. When I first seen them around, I wouldn't get caught dead wearing them.
How long did it take you to break them in, you think? What's the break-in period like?
4 to 6 weeks.
How many miles?
Of not heavy use. Probably less than 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't using heavy, but now I'll go walk my dogs in the morning and I'll put 2 miles on it. It don't bother me.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it because I think you're going to end up kind of flat-footed if you walk around in these things all the time.
They don't exactly have what you'd call arch support.
No.
You want to throw a sheep feet in there?
They're not they're not an athlete's they're not an athlete's shoe.
No, they're a house shoe, man.
Yeah.
That's
What do you
they
think?
are.
Now that
So at first I hated these things. I
Did
thought
you
they
hate
were
the
dumbest
aesthetic,
thing.
or?
Yeah, the aesthetic is awful. I didn't like how it felt like I have fleece line ones on my feet here, just FYI.
Yeah.
I still don't really dig the skin on plastic
Yeah.
kind of feel. I don't like that. But
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I notoriously walk around in socks in my house a lot. I just and so a pair of rubber ones are kind of fine with a little slip there. But they are more comfortable and they stay on your foot better than I thought. Like I took a look at that. I said, you're going to take 5 steps and that thing's going to fall off your foot. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they are good. I do wear them periodically, but it's like if I'm up here at the house and I need to run down to the shop and I don't have shoes on, I'll throw a pair of Crocs on, run down there, do whatever I need to do, come back. I would not wear them all day. I don't know. It just doesn't feel that comfortable to me. But for a simple, easy, I got to run outside and throw something on my feet. It's a great option.
Do you ever slip them in 4-wheel drive?
Sport mode, you mean? Yeah, I have put them in sport mode before. It's like I'm going up a hill. I better throw the Healy on here and make sure this thing's on.
What kind of occasion would you put them in sport mode?
Climbing hills. Like if and it's like the worst thing in the world to climb hills because they have no traction. Like it's a slick. If there's any moisture on the ground, you're probably gonna fall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the plastic on skin feeling is kind of weird, but they do actually ventilate pretty well for what they are. Now, if it's 90 degrees and you're out walking, you're gonna get sweaty, but yeah, the air does ventilate fairly well. So I don't get like sticky, nasty feet in them very often.
Interesting.
But I'm not out jogging in them either.
This is the review all the people have been waiting for. Where'd you get that hat?
It's on my. I think I got this
Explain
from.
that for me.
There's a cool little store in Coeur d'Alene across from the Safeway that it's basically kind of like an REI, but maybe a local REI. It's got like a bunch of neat looking stuff in there. And I saw this in there and I had to have it because I've always wanted one.
I just envision this as a 70-year-old Tim to working on his garden in his backyard in retirement age.
Well,
Wouldn't think it'd be something you'd pull out of your arsenal at this point in your life. You're like way ahead of the game. Right? Is retirement starting next year? Do you just haven't discussed it with me, or what?
Yes, it could be coming nearly around the future.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I just had to have it.
That just screams I gave up.
It struck my fancy,
Oh my God.
and sometimes I'm out in the sun a lot, and I'm like, well, I like protecting my skin, you know.
Yeah, I do wonder about all the sun.
That's why these
sunburns.
sun hoodies are like, these are like my new favorite modern piece of garb. Do you wear these things ever?
Yeah,
These little sun hoodies?
Yeah, I'd have actually.
Like, is that what you go pronghorn hunting in?
Normally, no. I get in the sun. Period. My head gets red. Everything gets red. But I've been running a theory this whole year, and I'm probably insane, but I heard it. I don't know if I talked about it before on here or not.
I don't think so.
If you don't wear sunglasses, you don't get a sunburn. It's like your eyes are the filter to your body's needs. So by putting sunglasses on, you're providing shade.
Your eyes are your filter to your body's needs.
It was a dude that was on Rogan.
Well, no, there could be more to it than that. You know?
Well, but I've not worn sunglasses all year. I haven't put an ounce of sunscreen on. I haven't tried to stay out of the sun. I haven't gotten a burn yet. I've gotten red, but I haven't burned or peeled. Not once.
Well, coincidentally, the only day I've burned myself this year, and I just got a little forehead burn. I was riding around on a 4-wheeler with my sunglasses on.
Well, when you think about it, if it's sunny outside, you're always wearing sunglasses. So, but yes, it seems crazy to me, right? That you don't need to be protecting your skin from this stuff, but.
Well, one does not necessarily mean the other, but I bet that if you're not wearing sunglasses, you're more likely to sit in the shade. You know what I mean?
I deliberately did not do that.
Oh, okay. So you think you're spending roughly the same amount of time in the sun?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I got red, but I didn't peel.
This story could get very deep.
Yeah. Well, I'm going the whole year until I get until I peel or something really bad. I'm going the whole year, and I haven't tried to put any lotion on my skin when it got red or anything like that. I'm like, nope, just not wearing sunglasses and seeing what happens.
It puts the lotion on the skin kind of deal?
Yeah, something like that. But I honestly do think sunscreen is really bad for you.
Yeah.
And it's a really big pollutant to our water.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the things that we put on our skin are bad for you, particularly in the reading I've done. It's when it comes to deodorants and stuff, like it's getting absorbed into your blood, and then it will affect, for men particularly, testosterone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like the plastic leaching stuff affects your testosterone. So I went to like a organic hippie deodorant like a couple of years ago.
Is that what that smells?
For that reason. Yeah, so now you can smell me all the way across the room instead of if you had your face right up close.
But it's going to prolong your life, so I guess it's okay if you got a funk.
Yeah, and you're more likely to support your... Oh, that's Joel Niebaum. Should we put him on the pod?
Oh, boy, what's old Joel want?
I don't know, just a morning call. But yeah, you're also more likely to raise your morning flag, too, you know, if you have more testosterone.
I'm very aware of that reality, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think testosterone's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Very, very good thing.
Unless you're a lady. And then you still need some of it.
Ladies do need it too.
You need some of it, but yeah, you can have too much as well.
Yes, very correct.
Oh, we're talking about that.
What the frick are we talking about,
dude, have you followed Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham at all?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm all about it.
Do you have a favorite of the two, Caitlin and Sophie?
Oh, I think Caitlin's a much better basketball player. Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily make her your favorite, though.
It's a very interesting thing that's going on there that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Caitlin's a generational basketball player.
Well, it does appear that way, and it does appear that she's the biggest significance in the league from a revenue standpoint, from people turning on the TV and watching, right? Which is what creates the revenue for most of the sports, is if people tune in. And people are tuning in double or triple if she's on.
Yep.
Right? And the
ticket prices are higher.
Yeah.
People want to have the game on.
Yeah, and the referees seem to not want to call fouls or anything like that whenever it's her.
Yeah.
It's like the league, the people that are participants in the league, for the most part, seem awfully resentful towards her immediate success.
Yeah,
including the referees.
Yeah,
like you go watch a game, like she gets fouled like crazy, and they ain't calling nothing.
Do you actually like put a game on and watch the whole thing?
I have, but I don't sit down and watch hardly anything ever.
Right.
Like I just don't have that kind of time. I'll watch highlight clips.
Yeah.
And if it's on and I have the ability and the time to sit down and watch at least part of it, I will. But no, I really haven't. But there's one in particular, I think they were playing Connecticut or something like that, and she's getting face defended by this one girl, and the girl freaking stabs her in the eye with her hand, and she like drops the ball and pushes off the girl. And her teammate comes up and after the whistle's been blown. The other girl's teammate comes up, body checks her to the ground, and nothing happens. Like if that was in men's ball, that person had been ejected. Like what the frick? I don't get it. But then that was the game that Sophie tackled her at the end of the game or something like that.
Yeah,
And that's how everybody knows who Sophie is now.
Sophie's stock is rising quickly.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, Caitlin Clark getting busted on. Angel Reese, there's this whole
Rebounds?
There's this whole rivalry thing between them two that I don't know if the media
it's in the media.
It's the media, but also they had the college thing where they played for competing schools.
Yeah.
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 But anyway, she has the most busted jump shot rhythm I've ever seen. You couldn't make it look worse.
Worse.
There's
a dude on TikTok that is up to like 44 different videos that he's made of Angel Reese getting me bounds. He coined the name me bounds, and now she's trying to trademark it.
Okay.
Because she gets a lot of rebounds, right? But they're her own misses.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it's her own misses. Like half of them or more are her shooting it up, doesn't go in, she gets her own rebound. That still counts as a rebound. Like how's somebody got like 4 points and 12 rebounds or 14 rebounds?
She's stat farming.
Yeah.
But she's not doing it on purpose. She's just really
it's just her game.
Yeah, it's just a
she's
just a game. She's just a junkyard dog. Like she gets the junkyard rebounds and stuff. But dude, Shaq definitely had more rhythm in his jump shot than her. Like more rhythm, more touch. It's insane. I almost felt embarrassed to watch her sit out and shoot jump shots. Like I was watching her warm up for a game, and I was like, "Oh my!"
That clip that I showed you came from Bloomberg.
Okay,
just that. So FYI.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
she cannot shoot a basketball.
No, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and they're hyping it up, and it's a white girl versus a black girl. Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
Like imagine that's what they're going for. Oh boy, what do you know? Let's get some more freaking confrontation between the races.
Yeah, I don't know, but 5
off.
years from now, Caitlin Clark will continue to be a generational star, and who knows where Angel Reese will be.
She's one of the first people I've ever seen play basketball at the professional level in the women that looks like. Though if you watch, and this is no offense to women's basketball, but if you watch men's basketball and women's basketball looks a little clunky.
Oh, that's different,
right?
Yeah,
and she doesn't look clunky. She's quick. She's snappy. Her off the shot's clean. So I'd compare her to Steph Curry.
Yeah, her shot is insane.
Like it gets off quick and can go up from anywhere, and she'll get 20, 30, 35 points a game.
Yeah, changing the game.
And doing triple doubles. Like she's already set the record for triple doubles in the league in a year and a quarter. Mm-hmm. Like for a career. That's wild, and they're not really promoting her.
Yeah, well,
it's wild.
Thank God for social media because she's getting plenty of attention. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And their revenue will go up. The league might actually make money for the first time in its history. The men's league has been funding the women's league forever because they lose money every year because nobody was watching and nobody was going to the games. And now people are watching and people are going to the games. They can raise the ticket prices. Caitlin was out for 4 games and the cost of a ticket went to a quarter.
Well, I'd be curious.
And the television ratings went down to nothing.
Yeah. I'd be curious when they do decide to post, or if it ever does get posted, like how much money she's going to make in a year. 'Cause she's going to make a shitload of money on sponsorships,
revenue deals, because they don't get paid nothing.
Right. The WNBA salary or whatever.
Well, yeah, but the salary is supposed to be a correlation to how much money the league makes, and if the league doesn't even make any money,
right,
how are you paying the players? Which is where the funding from the men's league comes from, and they've been trying to raise its popularity. A lot of players from the men's league have been going to games and trying to televise it, so maybe they'd gain some popularity because the men's showing up to watch the games. But now they're all of a sudden getting really popular. And what's the first thing that the league says? You're not paying us enough. It's like we're still not even making money. Like we got to turn a profit to pay you more money at some point.
All this chatter is basically to swerve back to Sophie Cunningham.
I think they've turned it off already. I think they've turned this spot off already.
Because Sophie Cunningham has just a nice little swag to her. She's got just a nice little energy, something about her.
You got a little crush there, Timmy?
Yes, I got a WNBA crush on Sophie for sure.
Is she taller than you?
I don't think so. I'd have to look that up.
She might be. You probably look that up.
Yeah, but I could still beat her in arm wrestling, which is probably
Isn't she karate or jiu-jitsu or something like that?
She's a jiu-jitsu gal. Yeah,
she's like a black belt.
She's like an early black belt.
Yeah.
But she got a nice little energy to her,
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's nice to see somebody actually do something to what's going on their team, because nobody really had. Like they'll go up and push and whatnot, but no one's like, you're going to hit her, I'm going to hit you back. And that finally happened,
Yeah.
which is great. So it'll be interesting to see going forward. Ironically, I think they've lost the last 2 games since then. So maybe you got to beat up on Caitlin for them to win. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, we're in the middle of this whole public land debacle. We're right in the middle of the storm right now, so it's like it's really hard to report exactly what's going on. But you and I, we did what we called an emergency podcast, which is our way of like, hey, we got to put this out as soon as possible because it's really, really important.
Yeah, it was out of sequence of what we filmed just because it needs to get out now.
Yeah. But so we're right in the middle of it. Like nobody's voted on anything. We don't know if there's going to be another iteration of the public land thing or if they're going to drop it from the proposal. So it's kind of scary. It's like
it's not a good place to be. I did get sent something this morning that says that I guess it's from Bloomberg. A friend saw it and forwarded it to me. It said public land sales blocked from inclusion in Trump's tax bill. But that's the only place we've seen it from, and Tim and I both tried to research it on the internet, couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't think that means jack. And I don't know if Bloomberg's always a positive source for accurate information, but not something I've ever looked at.
Yeah.
But it's hopeful and optimistic. I know. What did Mike Lee post over the weekend or something?
Well, I'm not so optimistic about that. Maybe you are, but he basically said, Hunter Nation, I heard you. There's going to be changes coming. There's going to be changes coming, which to me says there's going to be some other iteration of it that's still going to include some version of public land sell-off. That's my interpretation.
I would agree. That's not it's going away. Don't worry. It's we'll fix it, which means we're going to try to make it less obvious of what we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to make it less obvious. And in my opinion, I mean, I don't want to see. I think 1 acre sell-off is too much. Yeah, not 1 acre.
You don't sell your resource.
Yeah,
you hold your resources. Anybody with any knowledge or. I mean, which I guess expecting senators and congressmen to understand economics.
Well, I think they're understanding the economics of how to pad their stat line.
I agree.
You know, it's
a money grab,
or serving their donations or whatever.
Yeah. The guys that got them into office want to be able to go buy that land and develop it and make money on it.
Yeah.
In some facet.
Yeah, there's so many scary outcomes that could happen if that were to happen. If that bill went through. Who buys that land? You know, is it foreign?
Yeah, and what are they doing with it?
And it's not. Yeah. So I'd hopefully there's a line in the sand that gets drawn. And, you know, there's actually been a really beautiful thing that's happening right now is for the first time that I can remember, universally, hikers, hunters, vegan, hippie, outdoors people, anyone recreating outdoors, people biking, climbers, whatever. We can all agree on one thing is like nobody wants to see the public land go away.
Right.
So, you know, that has created some unity from, you know, two political parties that might be on different sides of the aisle.
Yeah, and the reality of this, I made a post on my own channel as well, just to try to cover as many different places as we could. That going back and reading the comments, because I told people to comment down below if you actually called, like, and where you were from, like, put it down below. And there was an ass ton of comments, like a lot, but there were like 4 or 5 in there that went, "This is what you get with what you voted for." I was like, this is bipartisan, bro. This has nothing to do with your political party.
Right.
It has nothing to do with who you voted for. And for the record, I live in a state that has liberal senators.
Yeah.
My state's got liberals. Yeah. I don't have a conservative senator. Right? This is not about a political party. This is about right and wrong.
Yeah.
Which is what it should always be. We're not making our decisions based off of an ideology.
Right.
It's what do you think is right and wrong.
And just because you were to vote for one person doesn't mean that you unilaterally agree with everything they do. Like they're the top chief and commander that you're never going to disagree with them. Like that's the check and balance of politics is like politicians are there to serve the people. And there are times when people need to inform the politicians that, hey, we have a different thought.
We have a different opinion than what you're putting out and you're supposed to represent us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the record, I want to say the only political thing we've ever really talked about is president, right? We've never had any discussions beyond that. And this was the Senate putting it back into the bill. This wasn't our president, for the record. So I don't know why you're relating it back to the president for those people in the comments doing that little crap. But yeah, it's like just wake up. Do you want it to go away? Do you care? Like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Say
matter,
something.
yeah.
And all you gotta do is call your freaking senator
Yeah.
and complain, or email them. Do either way. But the more that gets bombarded, the more they're like, holy crap, I'm making the wrong decision here. We need to fix this. We need to fix it now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like the response that we've gotten, which has been pretty incredible. Like, if you
really
follow
strong,
your
yeah.
Instagrams and whatnot and watch them, who's posting and who's saying stuff, which thank you, Cam Haines, more than anybody. I think he's been really one of the most outspoken people on it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I've still seen lots of the other guys in the field speaking out against it.
Yeah, I've seen a few bow companies speak out.
Yeah, that
like
was
Hoyt shared our
Hoyt,
podcast clip, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Hoyt did.
I seen Bowtech talk about it.
Bowtech talked about it.
Yeah.
The one that I was trying to get a response before we started on this, I haven't seen Matthew's post on it.
Yeah.
And if that's true, that's pretty damn disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, that's 95% of who buys your gear.
Yeah.
You really don't think you should have a voice in that? Especially the largest boat company in our industry? Like, I don't know. And I'm just hoping I missed it and didn't see it. Because I would think for a company that tends to be outspoken about their beliefs, like, this isn't something you felt you needed to speak up on a little bit. Like, you have a very large social media.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people that watch your stuff. Don't you think you should say something so maybe more people are aware of it, so more people can, respond? Because I think the reality of this is a lot of us didn't know that this was going on. And so the more it gets spoken about and the more it gets brought up within the community of people who communicate to each other, the better chance we have.
Yeah, when I first talked to you, I mean, had you had prior knowledge of that was happening?
I had just gotten sent something on it when you first mentioned it to me.
And I probably had heard about it 4 to 6 hours before you, and I was just at work, so I hadn't got to touch base with you. But yeah, it's like, I guess stuff happens really fast when you party with politicians. Like, literally, it got backdoored in, and then the next thing you know, like a week later, they're supposed to vote on it, or some version of it is supposed to happen. So that's really fast, Like, that doesn't give people a lot of time to react and figure things out and think for themselves. Actually, my favorite clip I've seen posted of this, which is new knowledge to me if this is 100% true, but Cameron Haines posted a clip of this gal, and this gal looks kind of like a hippie artist, and she's walking down the sidewalk, and she's saying, hey, you guys know me as this artist, but when I went to school for, like, outdoors and outdoor policy or something like that, or environmental policy. And she's like, these public lands are actually, what you need to understand about the regulation is these public lands are actually owned by the people and managed in trust by the federal government, which I thought was pretty cool. And I don't know if that's 100% true or not, and if she's referring to BLM or USFS. But the fact that some portion of the public land is actually owned by the people, managed in trust by the federal government, and then the people didn't have a chance to, like, talk on or represent themselves in what would happen with it, she was saying is, like, unconstitutional.
Well, that's good to know.
You know what I mean? Like, your shareholders, your stakeholders, they deserve a chance to represent themselves. And this was just shoved to the table by a senator. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Dirty pool, Michael.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hopefully by the time this comes out, there's been some positive news, and you and I will continue to report on it as we can, because it's really important to both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and if this isn't typically what you came here to listen to, I'm sorry, but I really hope you're at least listening still and paying attention to this, because it's the reality of importance for us.
Yeah.
This has to get stopped, or the future of, I don't want to see us become Europe.
Right.
I don't want to get to a point where the average guy never gets to go bow hunting. Because that's where we're headed. If that keeps going through, the more public land you lose, the less places there are to go hunting for the average working man. Because the average working man doesn't own a bunch of land where he can go hunting on his own land.
It sets a terrible precedent, aside from the actual loss of land.
Yeah.
It sets a terrible precedent in how things would be managed moving forward. So it's really important. I think, most people, I don't think most people seek out to ever be an influencer. There are some who I know are like, yeah, it would be cool to be famous. But most people come across it organically. And I think most of those people, when it comes to a situation like this, they probably feel like, well, I didn't sign up to be a voice for politicians or policy.
Sure.
But I think, we all have to make our own decisions in how we go about this, weird world we live in. But when it comes to something as important as this, as near and dear to the heart, like, I would feel a lot of regret if I didn't stand up and say, hey, like, this is really important to me.
It's very easy as the average person to think your voice doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really is. That no matter what you do, I'm just one voice. Well, yeah, but if 1,000 of you share your one voice, that's really loud.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand how many people actually reach out to a senator or a congressperson to voice their opinion about something they're doing. I think it's probably a lot less than you think it is.
Yeah.
So if 1,000 people pick up their phone and call them, and 1,000 people send them an email over a weekend, and they get back and they're like, "Holy balls, we're doing something wrong."
And from my personal experience, I haven't got the chance to do that before. I don't know if you have or haven't, but that was the first time I've actually called like the senator.
I never have.
The senator hotline myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was really painless.
It was very easy.
You literally call the senator hotline. You ask for your senator. It forwards you to their voicemail, or some chance maybe them or their staff picks up the phone, which would have been kind of cool. But most people are going to get forwarded to their voicemail. You just leave a voicemail saying, "Hey, I'm so and so, and I want you to know I feel a certain way about this."
Yeah. Well, that's what I did on my channels.
Yep.
I literally just picked up the phone. Here's what you do. Here's the number you call.
Mm-hmm.
Went through the little switchboard, asked for my senator, and left him a message because they didn't answer.
Yeah, it's super.
And it's that simple.
It's super painless.
It take you 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It took me 10 because I had to record it. Like if it would take you 5 minutes. It's not. It's nothing off your day. It costs you nothing. Just make a phone call, man.
Yeah, you're driving from A to B. Hopefully, you're not speeding, and you could call your senator hotline.
That's funny because you just got a ticket.
You can.
You didn't show a little chest to get your way out of it.
Well, aren't you an offender, a recent offender yourself?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got pinned, but in all fairness, they kept changing the speed limit back and forth where mine was.
Same.
And I didn't see the sign.
Same.
And if I had my nav going and your nav tells you what the speed limit is, nav still told me it was the other speed limit, right? So and I even told the guy, I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. Like my nav says it's 55. This says it's 45." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I still got to get you a ticket and whatever." And tried to. Jeff was in the passenger seat, and he's like, "Okay, we're totally happy about the ticket, but we need you to say one thing. Use coupon code MFJJ to save a little money to the cop." He wouldn't do it. Like, dude, I'll pay the ticket right now if you let me record this, please.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can't. He was laughing his ass off. He's like, no, I can't do it. Like, God damn it, that'd have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Throw that in the clip of the end of the hunting video.
I think sometimes even when you're on the best behavior, they still got to meet their revenue goals or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Clearly, I think that was part of the deal because it was that whole area was like there was like a 20-mile stretch where every mile it went up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it felt deliberate. It felt like when Ray got pulled over in Mexico. They had like this brand new stop sign put out that was on a rubber tire. Clearly wasn't permanent.
Yeah,
and he went right through it because it's an area has been like forever.
Yeah,
like he knows the road and he's like, "There's not a stop sign here." Went right through it and they were sitting right beyond it and pulled him over immediately. I was like, "Wow, this just feels suspect."
Yeah, and how many dollars did it cost him to get out of that?
Oh, he wouldn't give him any money.
No money.
He's like, no, that stop sign isn't there.
Not even a few
bucks.
It's
like, that's not there. Yeah, he's been down there for like a decade now. Yeah. So he's like, they all know the gringo down there that's always there. Yeah. So he doesn't get caught up with that stuff. Yeah. But they do that just to shake down.
Oh, yeah. I've heard those stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, here, give me $20 or whatever pesos or whatever, and you can go. Mm-hmm. And they do it on purpose.
Yeah. Because $20 is goes a long way.
Yeah, but for a gringo, it's just a $20 bill.
Yeah.
Make your problem go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we haven't really got to talk too much about Total Archery Challenge Pennsylvania, the largest total archery challenge on the calendar. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like?
It was a great event. I will say it was once again got hit by the weather that wasn't good.
Because you're going into the hornet's nest, right? Your little podium archer swinging into Pennsylvania.
My little.
Yeah.
Aren't you cute?
Your little with your little mohawk rolling in there.
Yeah, I think it was the first time PJ and I have been in the same circumference of each other. Yes. I never did see PJ.
And the people want to see the shoot off. They do.
I'm sure they do. But no, I didn't. I actually didn't get a chance to say hi to PJ or vice versa. I probably should have just walked up to their booth. I kind of feel like it's it's inappropriate for me to walk up to their booth.
It would feel weird.
I wouldn't care. It's just it just seems a little unprofessional to have me walk right into their booth.
Yeah.
But somebody did go buy something out of their booth and show it to me. It was like a direct knockoff of my string level. It wasn't the one they're making. It was another company that made it, but it had literally had the screws in it and the magnet on the side. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. Isn't that funny?
In due time, it all gets knocked off.
Yeah. I was like, hey, that's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a nice coating or anything on it finished. It seemed a little hokey. So I was like, why didn't you just buy them from me and I'll resell it to you? You can resell them on your website. I don't care.
Yeah.
But my guess is they probably wouldn't want to resell my products. If I had to guess.
It's possible.
Yeah. Well, we are probably, I'm probably their number one competitor in the space. I would imagine at this point. So
I would say
they probably wouldn't want to support anything I did
and you have a
from revenue
mohawk and
standpoint.
you wear rock and roll t-shirts. I mean, it's probably.
Well, I'm probably a little more relatable than old PJ, but maybe, I don't know. There could be a lot of people that relate to him.
Yeah.
And they're the originator in the space of the reviews, right? So they've been around a long time, and they got a big channel, and they are at every major event with a booth and a trailer and all that, and
hosting their own major event.
And hosting their own major events. So I don't know if that's the signal to that you're a big deal or whatnot. So maybe that's something that needs to be looked at. But yeah, in any event, it was once again crappy weather. Like everyone I've gone to has been crappy weather.
So
man.
wait, you showed up on what day?
We were there the whole 4 days, I want to say.
So what day is
I
that?
drove
Thursday?
in there I drove in Wednesday. So I drove from Nashville to PA. And we had
How was the road trip?
It was actually great. Traffic wasn't bad. Drove through.
Did you see any of the Smokies or the Appalachians or whatever?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to what they were called. I was more paying attention to how many
mountains, like
states I went
driving
through.
what?
I went through all. It was all.
Seems like a mountain.
The whole thing, the whole entire trip was green, leafy trees with hills. Like there was very little of it was flat, but nothing like major or anything like that either. But I know I went through Kentucky and Ohio, and then
Kentucky, Ohio.
I gotta go look at the map. I was in West Virginia
I say
briefly
one of the Virginias, probably.
PA. I went through West Virginia and PA. I'm trying to remember if it's Ohio, Indiana, or whatnot. Yeah, I don't remember. I had to go look at the map. But in any event, it was a 9-hour drive ish with stops for fuel and taking a piss. But since it goes right through Cincinnati, like most of the other towns that you would recognize, it doesn't actually go through it. Like they're offshoots, so I didn't technically see them. But I did go right through the middle of Cincinnati and saw some of like where the Bengals play and that kind of stuff, which was cool. But yeah, drove on through and met James and the crew that evening. It was like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Did you guys do an Airbnb?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. Had a hot tub.
Oh.
Yeah, me and Joey shared a room, and then there was
You and James
Scotty,
shared a hot tub at some point.
every night. Yeah, there was 3 or 4 of us in the hot tub pretty much every night.
Yeah.
But James and I, like as soon as we got back, it's like straight to the tub, soak them bones, loosen them muscles up, and have some dinner. Back in.
Loose that punching. That
We both have
thumb up.
we both have a very big passion for the hot tubs.
Yeah.
So something we bonded on. But the weather was decent the first day, but like every day we were there, it was either really windy or wet, and the mud is interesting. Every day they were putting out straw through the whole vendor village, and I want to say on Sunday they just didn't, and it was like you're stepping in 4 to 6 inches of mud every step you take.
Worse than Tennessee, you think?
Mud wise, yeah, I think it was
there's
muddier.
That many more people churning it up, probably.
I think it was muddier for sure. Well, the vendor village was for sure. I'm more talking the terrain.
Yeah.
I think the terrain was actually worse to navigate.
Really?
In Tennessee, after those heavy rains that we were in, definitely didn't have to deal with any kind of rain like that. Like nothing even remotely close. Like we were getting rained on I think it was day 2 when we shot with Bo Marnhauser, and it was decent. Like it was like, oh, that's just kind of inconvenient. At no point do we have to put cameras away like they're going to get hurt. Me or bagging them, but
That's cool.
taking them out of the weather or anything like that. And it was a good event, great deal. Decent courses. Ended up closing on Prime in the last one, which there was a lot of long stuff, like a lot of long stuff on Prime. A lot of 90 to 130s, like long bombs. That was cool. And I was shooting that RX-9 Ultra and never really got comfortable with it. Just didn't have enough arrows in it to really have it settle down, but was getting better.
What did you settle on?
It was getting better through the weekend. It was like getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
What did you settle on for a grip with that?
I just took it off.
Went to the riser? Yeah.
Just right to the riser. Took it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it performed well once I got her dialed in. Took a day or two to pretty much make sure everything was set on correct, for the different environment and whatnot. Went over to the practice range a couple times. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it was a great event, great village. It never really seemed like crazy crowded still. I mean, it was like 4,800 people or something like that.
So it handled the traffic.
It handled the traffic well.
Yeah.
It was spread out well enough. And once again, you're in a environment where people don't want to hang around. And I think that's really what it is. I think that's what it boils down to. If it's windy, rainy, uncomfortable, really muddy, people get done shooting and they leave.
Yeah, they split.
If you have a decent, weather day, there are going to be a whole bunch of people hanging around. Mm-hmm. So a ton of fans, shook a lot of hands, heard a lot of stories, that kind of stuff, which is great.
Shook a lot of babies.
I love doing that. Did not get to kiss any babies, unfortunately. Do look forward to that. But it's really cool to hear people's stories and how whatever you're doing has affected them or helped them in some way. It's definitely rejuvenating for the soul. Reminds you that what you're doing is making a difference, and you should keep doing it. It's very meaningful. I really enjoy that and trying to actually spend a decent amount of time. We ended up shooting in the afternoon every time. So we ended up probably like 2 hours before to 3 hours before getting there, go to the practice range, say hi to people, that kind of stuff, and then go up and shoot your course. Mm-hmm. Then by the time you get done, it's well after when the village is shut down and everybody's gone.
Yeah, I don't mind the shooting in the afternoon program. I think it's kind of nice.
I do like it. We did...
gives you some time to wake up, get your faculties under you.
I think it was the third day we did Rocky Mountain, and it was the first time that that was laid out enough that 2, 3, 4 people could shoot at one time. And it was amazing how much faster it went if we just had like 2, 3, 4 people shooting. Mm-hmm. Like we got done in a reasonable amount of time. We never had a freaking log jam. There were people in front of us and behind us, and it was never like awkward. And we had a way bigger group. Mm-hmm. Like, so that was huge. Like if you can do that,
that's
you
smart.
can line up for that, it works really, really well.
What was your impression of shooting with Josh Bomar? Had you had a chance to hang out with him in person before?
We'd never met.
Okay.
So never met in person. I had been messaging him for 6 months or so.
Asking him for workout programs, how to build your
biceps. No, didn't go that far. No, I just asked him questions about his products and things like that.
Yeah.
Typical things I would deal with from a manufacturer to a dealer. So I did have his number, so I knew him.
So it's pretty professional.
Yeah, it was really professional. Never really had much of a casual conversation. Exceeded my expectations of how nice he was. He was really, really nice.
Yeah.
There's always the scuttlebutt when it comes to him about lawsuits and things of that nature, to and fro, right? But in person, his energy to people is incredible. Mm. Like I strive to have as much energy as he has to continue to discuss things with people and be positive and give them as much time as they want and etc. Like he's very much a person of the people when it comes to that. Mm. Like I don't think I've seen anybody do it that good. Like he's always engaging and high energy with those people. And he just has a lot of energy, period, in general, right? I think that's his personality. Mm-hmm. But man, he had told James something at one point. He's like, if you want 1 million fans, you got to shake 1 million hands. And he never hesitates to not be engaged with the people. And within our groups, we shot together twice. Within our groups, the whole time he was talking to the people in the group, trying to help them. The whole time. It's like this. I got the impression he just really wants to help people. Now, however you want to skew your perception of that individual to whatever you think they are, that's up to you. But that's the impression I got, is that he really seemed to want to help people. So I was impressed with him. I thought he was a real good dude.
Yeah.
It was very nice. We had a lot of really good conversations early on, technical, talking about stuff, really engaging, really fun. But that was the first time it was just like, there was only 4 of us shooting. The second time there was like 12 of us, and he was engaging with the group the entire time really well. Never faltered. Always had that, So I was impressed with the guy.
That's cool. Yeah. It's one thing to read about a person, to see their content. It's another thing to meet them, get to spend some quality time with them. Because, at surface level, you meet somebody for 5 minutes, like, you could be anything for 5 minutes.
Well, and I've met some people in this that aren't very engaging.
Yeah.
That you can just kind of tell that whatever the perception you're getting from them from what they're filming isn't their personality. Right. And that's tough. You have a perception and an expectation. Once you've engaged in someone's content enough, you feel like you kind of know them. And it's kind of disappointing when they don't seem to actually be what you're seeing.
Well, there's that old saying, something like "Don't meet your heroes" or "Never meet your heroes."
Yeah, they're probably not going to live up to your expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've ran into that. I think it's kind of 50-50, personally. I think about half of the people that you meet aren't really being authentically themselves. And it's hard when you get into a public environment and start engaging with people over and over and over that your real personality doesn't come out. Not this, perception or persona that you've created. So, yeah, it was nice to see that it was maybe over the top of what it was. But I also haven't seen him away from an environment of a large amount of people. Maybe he's a different dude. And it looks like there'll be a good chance to get to know him a little better away from all that. We're supposed to try to do a collaboration next month.
That's cool.
So at his place in Iowa. So get to spend a decent amount of time with him without all the people around. But I'd be surprised if he's not the same dude.
Have you got to see anyone using the Peep Tuner yet?
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be a decent product, right?
Yeah.
Because in theory, it's just changing your string twist a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember that's not the first time that product's existed.
Right.
I'm trying to remember who created it.
And you could
kind of
jimmy your own Peep Tuner out of anything, really.
Yeah, you could put a piece of loop material in there, burn the ends, and move it up and down. And it does work. It does tweak your Peep just a little bit one way or another. But I haven't ever seen that product marketed so well. But I want to say it came out 10, 15 years ago from somebody else. But I probably also wasn't something patented, so anybody could make it.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea, and once again, it's reasonably cheap. It might. You could probably also. I don't know how thick it is in relation to like a piece of loop material, but it might help you adjust your timing and just stick it in a cable.
Yeah.
To absorb.
I've heard
some
people talk
space.
about that.
That's an option as well.
Yeah. But if
you
you're
think
shooting,
there'd be a better solution for that by now?
Yeah, if you're shooting just a Peep, like a timing thing that you just did a little twisty. But if you're just shooting a regular circle Peep, like if your circle Peep's not perfectly aligned, it's not the end of the world. But if you're shooting a tube or like a Hamsky, what do you call that? Like a barrel. If you're shooting a barrel and that thing's like a 16th the wrong direction, you start to lose your visibility and change your circle pretty good. So like those Hamsky Peeps are pretty finicky that way.
Yeah, and I
don't like that.
Well, there's a reality to the necessity of that because it does change your left-right impact.
Yes.
As that turns,
yes.
If it turns like constantly, your left to rights are moving around.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it's important. It really is. And I on my hunting bows, and it should be my target bows, I believe in the nose button. I use it.
Yeah.
I have like my bow I just built last week. I've got a nose button on it, and it's noticeably different when you're trying to anchor. Like it does pronounce itself to you. So I do think it's a good product when used correctly.
Yeah, I should circle back to smacking one of those things on. Yeah.
I like I said, I enjoy it, but everyone's different. They did just launch a new 100 grain titanium broadhead. We got like 100 packs of them in. It's a titanium ferrule, little more expensive than the aluminum, but not by a ton. I'm trying to remember like how much the aluminums were. I think they're like $60 for a 2-pack or something like that. And they come with a practice head. The titaniums are $85, but they come with 3 broadheads.
Well, I seen him doing his little demonstration of his broadhead, and he's like, here's why this thing is really good. And he pushed it through this little bone slot, and he's like, look, it can go through and then re-expand. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, because this thing can shrink down and optimize for penetration if it needed to, and then re-expand. So
yeah, I don't know another
that
broadhead.
That is kind of neat.
I don't know another broadhead that does that. I don't think there is one.
It's going to be hard for me to go back towards a 2-blade broadhead. I'm definitely leaning towards the 3-blade program, but I can see why that could why that product could be effective for sure.
Well, the purpose of using a 3 over a 2 is for a better wound channel.
Yeah,
right?
wound
better
channel.
hole. And I've yet to ever see somebody shoot something with one of those broadheads, if it stayed intact, that didn't have a good hole. So yes, it's a 2-blade, but when you cut a freaking swath in something like that big, it's gonna go down.
You get that smack cut.
Slap, I think they call it.
Yeah, I
think
call
they
it smack.
Well, of course, you always got a different name for everything. I mean, look at your hat, for God's sakes. But yeah, that's so. And when it comes to a 2-blade on like a 2-inch cutting diameter or something, I don't think it matters. I think you're gonna put a big old gasher in whatever, whether that's a Rage or a Beast or a Schwacker or whatever. When it comes to something that big, it's going to put a good size hole in something no matter what. There is something really impressive about like a 2-inch 3-blade, but I don't think there's a 2-inch 3-blade that penetrates well.
Right. Yeah, you're
So-
sacrificing one for another for sure.
Yeah, so it's a give and a take, but I've been
push and a
relatively
pull, if
impressed
you will.
for the most part. My one flaw in that broadhead originally was that the ferrule wasn't made out of something hard, and now they got one made out of something hard. So I'm pretty jacked on it. I'll most likely shoot that for my first fall hunt.
Well, and it also, I mean, every man's worst fear.
What?
Early deployment.
Early deployment? Yeah, that's that is something that is an interesting little caveat to that because it spring deploys, it doesn't actually take that much to open.
Right.
It's like you push it too hard in your quiver, you might open it. And then they give you these little finger cover things to shut it so you can actually push on the blades and not cut your finger. For the record, you can hold the blades and shut it with your fingers. It's not that hard to do. I know it's a little hairy.
You didn't lose a thumb doing
A little
it?
scary. Or if you go up to, I did this when I was in the woods last year when I had those on, that one popped open. Go up to like a stump or something, set it on the stump and shut it with your foot. Closed easy enough. Wasn't that big a deal. But it is a little kind of fatal flaw in that system is they might pop open and you might have to shut them. I'm like I said, I'm really anxious to
I'd be more concerned with having to shoot through some grass or, you know, your arrow grazes something and then you get early deployment.
You're not going to get a deployment off of grass.
You don't think so?
No. Now, you hit a branch or something like that, sure, but that arrow's also going to end up over there if you hit a branch.
Gosh, that's almost something we could test with a high-speed camera.
Yeah, right? Well, that's part of why my little collab is I'm going to go play with all this high-speed stuff and see which
nice.
camera I'm going to buy.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That was when it was offered up originally because I think I asked him like 5 or 6 different messages about which camera do you have for this and and I think he was getting annoyed. And back said, just come over to my house and play with them. We can like do a bow build or something like that and do a collab that you can play with all my stuff.
His main piece is a Phantom.
Yeah, well, but he has the camera I was going to buy.
Yeah.
So I was already planning on buying an Ember, and that's what they
an
were
Ember?
filming with on in PA.
Okay.
So I was super jacked to that. So I had like 100 million questions about it because it's that to me is a huge investment. I mean, I get a Phantom is the end all be all, right? Like if you can afford $200,000 and you're going to film a lot of stuff really slow, it's the best thing you can buy. I don't got $200,000. I mean, honestly, I don't really have the $25,000 the Ember's going to cost, but I really want to be able to slow things down. Especially with the broadhead testing I want to do because you need to be able to see that stuff slow.
And it's very satisfying.
It is super soothing. Like the videos that are going to come out from that are going to be some of the coolest things you've ever seen. Just there's some really cool stuff you can do. So I'm going to spend the money, but at least he just wanted me to play with it and make sure I could get the speed that I was looking to get from someone who has spent a lot of money and time on slow motion cameras.
Yeah.
Because they really have. Like a lot.
Yeah, they're pretty balls deep in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spare no expense kind of thing.
Spare no expense, yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, at some point you say, hey, this is really important. So you end up buying the best gear to serve your purpose.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was great. No complaints there. Had a really good time. PA was awesome. Definitely go back. It is the biggest event.
What was the town like? Like, where did you stay?
You're at a ski resort.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in Seven Springs Ski Resort, so there's not a town.
Okay.
I mean, there's like little stores and whatnot. We ended up going to dinner one night.
So it's kind of
someplace
rural.
like 20 minutes away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just like all of them. You're not usually anywhere near a town, to speak of. I'm trying to think of any of the ones I've been to where you're actually relatively close to town. I mean, the Brighton, you're only 30 minutes from Salt Lake City.
Tennessee, we were just in that quaint little town.
Yes. No, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm still holding a grudge against Brittany Jean Outdoors
What is that?
for the for the final evening, we went out to that one place, the Ching Ching Ching,
Oh, yeah.
and we didn't get a chance to try that one restaurant we walked into downtown, which looked really freaking good.
Which one did we walk into? Oh, yeah.
The first night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it's called,
they're
but
dishing
you
out
walk in.
ribeye, looked beautiful.
Yeah, looked
like,
great.
cool
and
spot.
we ended up doing freaking hibachi or whatever it was.
I mean, not like it wasn't bad hibachi, but
Yeah, not what I would have wanted to
wasn't
eat,
the
though.
apple of my eye either.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to check out that
Just that little
spot.
restaurant.
Cool little downtown district.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised with Tennessee. I thought it was good. You know, like the town was good enough if you needed a bar or a restaurant.
Yeah, and that's the unique thing about that one from what I've experienced is you are close enough to options.
Yeah.
You are kind of in a town.
Yeah.
I mean, you're driving out, but then wherever you're staying's back in the town.
And that's how Big Sky was too.
Kind of. There were some options, but not a ton.
Not a ton.
It was
but enough.
smaller.
Small grocery store.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Red Lodge is like, but I imagine it's way less than Big Sky.
Yeah, I'm very curious to actually hear what Red Lodge is like as well from you.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And, Brighton's, like I said, not too far from Salt Lake. So if you want to actually go into a big town, you can. Mm-hmm. That one's pretty good. In fact, when people say they want to try traveling to one, I usually tell them to do that one because you're flying into Salt Lake and it's only like 30, 45 minutes to the mountain. So if you are staying at the resort, you can Airbnb or you can Uber, not have a car and just Uber there, Uber back and not have to worry about renting a car because there are enough things up there to eat.
So you're going to roll into this Montana attack and get to shoot with the Turners?
Yeah.
What are the Vegas odds that Joel has a sight on his bow?
0. There's no way he has a sight on his bow, ever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about bringing him a matchstick and taping it to the front of his right.
You should, yeah. When he's not looking,
you got your
aimer?
Yeah. Here you go, buddy.
That'd make a great short or something.
I heard you're struggling a little bit. Let me help you out.
Yeah. Set him up proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, looking forward to that. And then hop on a plane in Bozeman and fly to Nashville. And then I've got a pretty full Nashville schedule this time around. I've got 5 different functional things I have to do that aren't just working on the shop. And I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just in Nashville, just hanging?
No, I should be going to Des Moines for Bomar's thing. I've got to go down to Tethered.
Is that a road trip?
No, because it's like 12 hours and there's a round trip flight for like $85.
Yeah.
So I'll be flying. Brandon and I are going to go do that. I got to go to Tethered. I've got the Gray Light guys coming to town for 3 days to hash out what our next year's product lines are going to be and what we're doing there. Doing a pod with Mountain Tough. And
those are the Bozeman guys?
Yeah, he happens to be down there that weekend.
Yeah, why is he in Tennessee?
I don't know, but they reached out and was like, "Hey, are you available to do this? Do you want to do this from here to here?" I'm like, yeah, sure, I can get back there. That's why I'm hopping on a plane in Bozeman and not going back to Spokane first, because I can get down there before Monday because he's got his last day's Monday. And if I drove back to Spokane, I wouldn't get there till Monday evening.
Is Jeff going to make it to Bozeman?
Yeah, Jeff and I are driving together over, and then he's going to drop me off in Bozeman and drive the rest of the way home.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Nashville's coming along awesome. It's great. We're working on a building in the back for space. They're freaking busy. They're cranking.
Working on a building for a little bit of a warehouse situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be another like 3,000 square feet, and then that place should be good. We shouldn't have to worry about storage and whatnot, and then I can come back and try to figure out what we're going to do here for more space. So we got a couple options there. We're throwing up another portable in the back to move everything into.
Is that called? Those portables, they have a name. It's not Connex. A Connex is like a...
I call it a Quonset.
A Quonset, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but I just called it a Quonset.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have one of those. It's like 20 by 30, and the fabric's about done. And we just put another one up that's 30 by 40. And we should be able to get everything into and not have anything covered up by tarps anymore. As long as people are diligent and actually put things away as soon as we get them, instead of just throw a tarp over it and not worry about it for a week.
Yeah.
So that's the hope, is that we're real diligent about that sort of thing. But that should give us enough space. I can actually take down the 20 by 30, see if I can find a new cover for it, and probably take it up to my property and use it for storage of equipment, things like that, because I do intend to have a tractor and all that kind of stuff up there for doing food plots, because that's what we're reduced to now. So if in Washington, you can either put out water or grow food. It's the only options.
Right.
For attracting animals into an area that wouldn't normally have a large abundance of animals.
I would love to run a food plot. I think that'd be a hoot, being able to cultivate your land and You get to play farmer for a little bit.
I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's going to be more of a 3 to 5 year plan. I've got my water system
A lot of it
going
depends
in
on
the
your
next
soil
month.
too, right? Like your soil.
Well,
is a big deal.
certain things will grow just about anywhere,
Mhm.
right? So it doesn't have to be super perfect, but you got to have enough relatively flat area that's clear to be able to actually even plant. But I'm trying to finish up my water system in the next month. I got to put in a big holding tank because my well only puts out like 2 gallons a minute, and I'm off grid, so I got to do a solar system
Right, so
and
you
a
gotta
solar
have a
pump
holding
and all
tank
that stuff.
situation.
Yeah, so that was the phone call I was on when you got here. I was talking to my cousin about who makes what and where to get it. So
Gosh, people love off-grid stuff on YouTube.
I know, like I should totally be recording what I'm doing because it would probably do better than this does.
Yeah.
It really would. I wouldn't
It
doubt
would,
it. But
yeah.
it's a very unique system that I'm trying to put together. What I guess I shouldn't say it's super unique, but I've got a 250-foot well. I had water hit at 160 foot. I've got standing water in my well at 35 feet right now, which is a relatively good sign since I haven't tried to pump it out yet and see how fast it fills back up. But we're digging in a line. So I'm on a pretty decent hill, and it goes uphill relatively quickly. We're going to go uphill 50 vertical feet or so and put in a 1,500 to 2,500 gallon holding tank.
Are you gonna need a second channel?
Maybe. I don't know. I probably need 4, but just what I need, more crap to record.
Yeah.
And pump the water with a solar pump, and run on it, run when the sun shines, that kind of thing, and fill when it's needs to fill because it's got a little valve system on it. But it'll pump water uphill 50 vertical feet, and then the water that comes back down to the same elevation will be pressurized without electricity. So once you just get the water up to the holding tank. So I should be able to open a frost free and pour water out at, a decent amount of pressure. And then when I build my cabin, I'll be able to put pressurized water into it so you could have a shower and a sink and toilet, that kind of thing. So this is a plan
Very interesting.
at the moment. Yeah. So
Well, on that note, gosh, our fire just went out. Just like that.
that was so smooth. There's a button you can just push and it turns off.
Yeah, and it's very hot. I don't want to burn my hand. I know better than that.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, thanks guys for hanging out for another podcast. This is the Fireside Chat. 2 men, 1 fire.